Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to LCK 2019 Summer.
Stolen away was game number one. Now, how do you rebound after a game like that is a question we haven't had. Against Sona Tahm, but what does that mean for Varus priority right now is something to wonder on. Jungle pool wide open. The Sejuani, Jarvan, etc. all up. They're going to take the Ezreal anyway. They're happy to roll it back against the Sona Tahm.
Well, Peanut's going to get the Sejuani this time around. The Trundle can still be the answer on SKT's side.
And this is Peanut
Oh God,
Sejuani.
we're doing it again.
Currently, Peanut is undefeated in Summer on the Sejuani, so that's where the confidence comes from. Atlas?
There's a Caitlyn being hovered. The Trundle is going to be locked in, Papa, so we don't need to talk about any crazy shenanigans with our mid lane Caitlyn or mid lane Ezreal, top lane Caitlyn. Who knows where these champions
But the shoe is on the other foot when it comes to the Sejuani and the Trundle. This time, Clid going to be picking that one up. Peanut was on Trundle duty last time. So we'll see if that changes the rune choice. Because again, Hail of Blades or Fleet Footwork might be taken by Peanut on the Sejuani. We'll wait and see what his decision is. Fly's champion pool, Deluxe and the Veigar have been the big ones. We're gonna
Talia as well from the last series. That's why you see this ban coming in from SKT.
Wonder if we're going to see that rolled back, because it could definitely be Neeko versus Lux once more.
Well, I mean, what's stopping SKT from just picking Neeko here? It's a flex pick.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Fantastic option, yeah.
I would assume they would consider that. Fly has always had a pretty limited effective champion pool at one time. This season's been the 3. Now the Talia banned away from that. I believe we might have played the Karma there as well. 100% clear.
Yes.
But Gen.G final ban against SKT, whose solo lanes are both up. They're probably happy again to run back a lot of the previous draft. The GP into Aatrox was fine. The Lux mid into Neeko was fine. Those were not the reasons they won or lost, but I guess they're going to make the adjustment and say one game of Aatrox is enough. It would actually be a surprise not to see Neeko here from SKT.
I've written it down on my sheet already. Papa Smithy
That's in
is going to
pen,
be locked
Atlas.
in.
You like to live dangerously.
I was living dangerous. I didn't even bring my whiteout, okay?
Damn.
Didn't even bring it. There's no corrections available. Wrote it as big as possible on my sheet.
Only step forward to write it in blood. So we'll see how the things go for the future.
Well, we're going for a glacial composition on the side of Gen.G.
I think Camille a little bit more likely here, but we already know how that matchup goes top lane. If it ends up being a top lane matchup, so it's just going to be a mid lane attempt to put the Camille in and kind of play your cards face up against the side of SKT. It's not. They're happy enough to go into the Neeko if it's top now. It's almost always Faker's pick. They do put a different champion in the mid lane against the Zoe. We saw the Shy open up 100+ CS advantage going on hit Neeko against the Camille. Here's another way you can play around with Camille.
The Fiora would be an exciting one on SKT's side, and will provide them with 2 pretty decent lanes as Gen.G were playing face up, and Khan is going to do it. Back to the Fiora, back to more lane domination. And even in the draft, it looks like SKT are playing with momentum. It feels like the pizzazz is back. Let's see how the Fiora is going to go in this split push, because CuVee has been on a tear on the Camille as well.
There's a lot of differences in this draft, even if for a lot of people it might look like a rollback, because a lot of lanes have changed around here, and SKT's done some intriguing things. They could have just taken on-hit Neeko, which we already saw open up a 100+ CS lead on Khan when IG faced SKT at Rift Rivals. Instead, they say no, Khan is the Fiora player, no games so far on the top lane Neeko in Summer, and they go for his reliable. He is a big Fiora player. This will become a 4-1 or 1-3-1 game where it will become very tricky for Camille to deal with this Fiora as the laning phase goes on. But there's an essence of something, but it's not everything. I need some lane backup to make those plays happen again.
Yep, once more, it's the Sona compositions. Once again, it's the Braum Ezreal. Let's see who's going to come out on top in Game 2. Ballpark exploding as SKT, T1.
That's a next year thing.
I know. I was getting a little bit ahead of myself. Are on the brink of 6 matches in a row and 12-game victories in the LCK in a row as well.
They had a lot of ground to make up, and definitely not the finished article based on their Game 1 display. But it was still a game victory for them, and in general, they made the plays that were required to make their draft work. That's a very high value level 1 sweeper.
Damn right. Clid clearing out all the vision. Question mark there from Gen.G.
We got some different runes here now. Peanut says he can gank too and will not be going Hail of Blades or Fleet Footwork to dodge the Trundle interaction, but Clid is going Predator.
Yeah.
Seen this before. One of the different Predator jumps, not just a Gragas or maybe an Olaf that's more common on. Cool thing about this is that if you control one side of the river, your river gank potential, if you're last seen at Raptors, is actually surprisingly high, because you roll in, you will get that pillar in the right spot, and if the enemy flashes down, by the time you walk around the pillar, you're probably dead.
Yep. Also going for the traditional Trundle skin. Just by far the best skin choice since the change. Okay. Bottom side of the map, let's see whether Ruler and Light can have a better time up against Teddy and Effort, but you have to say that the laning phase wasn't really the problem for the Sona composition.
CuVee not going Comet in this matchup against Fiora. Not sure what the latest group think is on it, but Comet would be a little bit more of that early game oomph. And it's not like Aatrox, where Aatrox really at all points kind of loses to Fiora in the 1v1. Camille has a bit more lane presence. Against the Fiora early, it's only later that things get too easy to deal with. You can kind of just hold on to the riposte for the hook shot. So
yeah,
at some point, that cooldown becomes a bit irrelevant, which is a big point for Fiora.
As soon as that mind game gets made too easy, that's when you know that the Fiora is going to be in a good position. And throws out said riposte. Should have that one available once again relatively soon.
Very happy to farm just under turret here. The Aftershock is usually for the hookshot trades. That's why it's a surprise in this matchup, because the hookshot trades with riposte off cooldown are almost impossible.
Yeah.
So a lot of matchups where you need the hookshot trades, I don't think they work that well here, so I'm a little bit surprised personally to see the Aftershock.
Oh, well, it's Grasp.
No, the Grasp, sorry. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. In my head, I'm saying Aftershock, but I'm thinking Grasp.
I'm just going to assume you said Resolve Tree.
Yeah.
And I'm going to assume you Guardian.
Words are hard. It's Clid's topside without even backing.
Yeah, living is also hard, Papa Smithy, as CuVee is going to flash. He's going to get out of there. Clid not able to find the Pillar of Filth in time.
The interrupting pillar there would have been a kill. Don't find it. Able to get over it. That's why the flash came in first and had that slight moment to pillar. Didn't find it. That was some nice snaring by Faker.
Yeah, the Blooming Burst, if that hadn't been on cooldown already, would have been a lot of damage down onto the little Zoe. She's going to go back. CuVee also went back home again, got himself a Doran's Blade. And Khan's going to have a pretty decent CS lead and experience lead. A few of these creeps should be dying to the turret, but Hookshot helps CuVee get back to that lane pretty quickly.
Just another Braum lane into a Sona lane. I reviewed a game with this same sort of composition when Cloud9 lost to CLG on the weekend, and people were asking about how do you stay CS for CS as a Sona lane? That should never happen. But again, we've been talking about how Tahm Kench that isn't usually under that much pressure in this matchup, unless you have the mini-wave in an awkward spot as mid lane.
Yeah, snare comes down, blooming burst, a lot of damage. Clid, perfect positioning. Trouble bubble is going to land, but this time the pillar is true, and Clid just smacks him with his hammer. Takes down the Zoe for first blood.
A hard nut to crack, but finally they find a way to take down the Zoe. Not Flash, not Cleanse could be enough to turn it around. Big moment for SKT. Whenever Trundle finds the first gang, you definitely take it to the bank, and they might actually try to turn it into a super high value. Ocean Drake, the Faker's there to guarantee.
Yep, the on-spawn Ocean Drake. Here's going to be picked up. And it is going to be comfortably gathered. Effort's the one that's using his health bar. Potentially wanted to go back home anyway, and Teddy's going to just farm underneath this turret. No losses, just pick up that Drake 5 minutes in. Next one's going to be an Ocean as well. Not exactly the most high value, as we're going to see this one more time.
Watching the chase in mid lane, not able to open up with the Trouble Bubble earlier because of the Shape Splitter W being used there. Fly played this as best he could, but with Predator, you're gonna bounce back. That Zoe didn't get the connection top side, gets it in the mid lane, and that's a really nice kill here to relieve pressure, as with a flash advantage, Faker isn't under anywhere near the same map pressure against the outrange of Zoe.
Yeah, flash advantage and a 20 CS lead at 6 minutes into the game ain't bad at all.
That's a wombo combo right there.
Yep, surprised that we saw the Aatrox ban from Gen.G. Let's just say that, as Khan taking a hell of a lot of damage here from CuVee.
Couldn't get to the Vital. CuVee did a good job of protecting it with the wall below him, so...
Actually thought that Khan should have been able to get it there. Almost had the angle as Peanut, he's waiting around. Doesn't have the prison.
Oh, Clid and Faker walking up as well.
Yeah, Control Ward is going to spot the bad news here for Gen.G as CuVee hook shots. Should be able to get himself out. Another pillar is not going to be enough.
But the moment they reveal themselves walking down, maybe there's actually a way for Peanut to make something happen here as Fly's coming in. They're looking for the pincer.
Yep, he's got a dash cannon. Doesn't land the paddle star. There's another Pop Blossom. Does get one of the stuns onto Peanut. Khan's going to make his way down. Faker's dead already, though. And now the flash forward from Fly. Gets himself the skirmishes. Saber Smite, and Clid will be falling. But Khan's able to take down the Camille off the back end. Peanut taking so long to kill this Trundle as Fly dealing with Khan as best he can. Trouble Bubble is going to be blocked by the riposte, but Fly's not going to get hit as Gen.G managed to hit level 6. Lands it onto Khan there. He's looking for the riposte cooldown to come back up again as Fly's just trying to kill him, but he gets underneath the turret and Khan should survive.
So much in close quarters fighting with a Zoe that we don't very, very rarely see. Trying to get the push here. Doesn't want to leave the minion wave. Throws in an awkward spot for his top laner. It's a decent connection. It's not going to be the ideal lane spot, but Khan is definitely going to need to go back. Fly played this one really, really well when it comes to his R timing, because not going to be surprised by the Pop Blossom is able to actually ult through it with the portal jump. They take down Faker, and then it was always guaranteed to be 3v2. Khan understood his limits, though, and the healing position meant they got one kill, got out. Only at the top side do they actually finish off the Trundle to make it a 2-for-1 overall.
Yep. Looking back to live, Clid was thinking about some sort of gank attempt. You can see the vision from SKT on the bottom side of the map. It's a Christmas tree. As CuVee, he's jumped into the mid lane. He's found Faker. Pop Blossom going to be used defensively. Lands the double stun, but the flash has to be used immediately. So successful gank here from Gen.G. Get themselves an ultimate and a flash. Should help calm the Neeko down. Was just starting to get a ridiculous lead, as you can see.
It means a big flash window in about a minute, where the flash will be off cooldown for Fly, but still unavailable for Faker. He played at a good pace this game, and we have sliding scales here in the LCK when we can have some pretty long lull states. Through all of this, Ruler and Life have been CSing alongside Ezreal Braum, as I alluded to. That's the norm of these Braum lanes, where it's much harder without jungle attention to provide pressure, and pressure's been everywhere but bots so far in this game.
Yep, Gen.G probably comfortable with it, but SKT seemingly also completely fine with that situation.
200 gold lead for Gen.G's duo here. They have multiple ways to farm. That's a 9-minute transform.
Much better than last time.
The Spell Thieves. Yeah, you'll take it for sure.
7-minute has always been our gold standard, set by Deft, I believe.
It's almost impossible to 7-minute. That was kind of the Viper and I guess to some degree Deft special, but everyone else is,
yeah.
We've seen, what, 21 minutes or something in one of those
Yeah,
games?
I mean, that was an SKT attempt at a Sona composition, and theirs have not been the best.
But if they can just counter it, maybe they're able to keep it off the pick and ban tree. You do feel bad banning Tahm Kench in
9-14
meta.
Tactical sweep from CuVee, trying to offer some damage in onto Khan, who's got his Tiamat. Feeling very comfortable is the Fiora. As Clid takes his red buff and now spends some time towards the top side.
Zoe can find a bit more the happy laning phase here now with that flash advantage we spoke about. Still no mana items, so being very honest about mana spent, and no blue buff here for Fly. Probably going to be a lost chapter back timing now. Peanut's top side, not spotted.
Yeah.
Ships in the night here, but they're going to meet.
Oh, I don't believe he was spotted out there as Peanut's going to make his way in. Riposte is going to come down. There's the Hextech ultimatum. Clid's going to make it a 1v2, but all of the vitals have been hit, and Khan keeps himself alive so well. CuVee just unable to get enough damage and unable to keep himself away from all of those procs.
And they might lose a lot here because we saw the roam up from life as Sona's tried to re-enter lane, and this lane that was so even has a huge fallen effect. Faker roams bot side, puts down a spotting ward. There's no Tahm Kench. They're not going to be able to take this turret. Gen.G are forced to use everything onto this Rift Herald. They're not even going to get that Atlas, and that's the first meaningful lead bot side for SKT.
Yeah, Bulla doing his best, but just not a lot of options here as SKT with that ward just out of range behind this turret. They're not going to lose this, but that is so much money injected into Teddy.
That's
exactly
just
where you don't want it.
It's an investment paying off because the body blocking from Clid after the investment from Life, when they see that ult used, it means that suddenly Braum and the Ezreal, who've been kept in check so respectfully, finally can push out. So that's the biggest moment so far in the game for SK Telecom T1. Continues to push up. We know the good times are backloaded for most Fiora lanes, and this fits into that archetype. And even just Trundle throwing a pillar down bot lane or one more Neeko roam, and perhaps this bot lane outer turret will be fully cashed out of plates by SKT. A second Ocean Drake, exactly when you want.
Yep, and these Drakes in the last game, I think the first one was 17.5 minutes. Now the first one was 5 minutes. We're up to 3 Ocean Drakes in potentially the first 17 minutes of the game. So that's before even one dragon was taken last time. Bit unfortunate with the Drakes that were actually picked up, as CuVee is going to use a very defensive hookshot. Now won't have that available. Okay, going to guard the Vital this time. He gets the second proc of the E, so CuVee doing decently in that trade, but the Vampiric Scepter is doing a heck of a lot of work here for Khan. So these extended trades, CuVee though may have found an inroad. And that riposte is now going to be something that Khan really needs to think about as these E's start stacking. CuVee just hookshot into the wall, trying to play those mind games.
By far the most meaningful cooldown in those trades are the riposts, so it's always a waiting game. See if that's ever used. We're back to it. The Observers are being baited by this one.
Yep, the way that you win this as the Camille, by the way, guys, is to never hookshot. And then Khan can never use his riposte.
A lot of nevers there.
Yeah.
Never say never.
Oh, that's the flash!
Hey!
CuVee gets the solo kill! Oh, that was beautifully done. This is the mind game that we were talking about as Clid. He's got the Predator on. CuVee does have Hextech Ultimatum available, but with the subjugation, he should be able to get there, and Clid trying to go for the flash in front. I have a feeling that was Cinderhulk that picked up that kill, as now Peanut is going to be able to find the Trundle, but not exactly the champion that you want to be going up against, despite not having the ultimate available.
Two thoughts coming out of that play. CuVee is the alpha in the 1v1. The solo kill will give him a lot of confidence against Khan and pays off. A great run of form for him in recent series, but Peanut, who's a level down, doesn't achieve anything cross-map during that play where Clid was trying to make a gank and then was, of course, caught under the enemy turret and had to reorganize his position in order to get that kill. There was a lot of chasing going on there. Peanut wasn't able to find an objective, and now he's trying to take an objective topside anyway, while SKT are very likely to come back. So no cross-mapping here means it's probably just a straight-up win for SKT.
Well, especially when it actually turned into a leash. I mean, CuVee wasn't in position. Faker taking a lot of damage there from the paddle star over the side, but he just can't do anything there. And I mean, Gen.G, I think that was just straight up a mistake. Just realizing with desperation that you need to take something and then choosing the wrong thing to take and actually just making it easier for SKT to steal it away.
Yeah, I'm not sure on the comms on that one because you just lost out in terms of recall timing there. Of course, the Khan is going to get there before the Camille is likely to. So even with setup and maybe even a TP advantage, you're very unlikely to find things. But let's watch the 1v1 here. Because it's so much posturing, right? That's what happens in this matchup. You talked about how it's all about never hookshotting. Watch how the play actually goes, though. Because Khan's down to 300 health, holds onto the wall, flashes over. Pick up the kill there. Very nicely done by CuVee in the 1v1. The last time I remember a Camille holding onto the wall for a long time, do you remember Smeb versus Untara in the Jax versus Camille matchup? It's a different matchup, but still cool to see.
Yeah. Unfortunately, CuVee wasn't able to walk away with his fancy play, but SKT even out the trade.
And we also saw flashing into the stun there from the Trundle in order to ensure there was no further disengage possible on the hookshot. In the mid lane, Rift Herald thrown down. This one was prepared earlier, I guess you could say, by Gen.G, but profited on by SKT. It's after 14 minutes.
Yep, Abyssal Voyage is going to come in just to try and defend this turret, but Ruler is going to be left on his own. He didn't take the Voyage, and this is what happens. Crescendo used with absolutely no gain, as Gen.G look to be falling apart at the seams just a little bit.
Even the all-reliable bot lane not on the same page. Life rolls in. Ruler tries to slowly follow and caught in transition. The poke doesn't matter. Secondary charge from
crazy.
Shelly. Even that gets cheered by the SKT fans.
The thing that I'm looking at is the fact that Ruler's playing the Sona. I mean, he's been so good on his Kalista. It's been banned away. It was banned our entire first series. Every single time. And we've got two incredible Kalista players, but Ruler especially has really been defaulting to that champion. I find it quite strange that the Sona duty is now picked up. Certainly does show how scrims have been going. But SKT just seem to be ignoring it. Not too worried about what the Sona is going to be capable of. Peanut may have found Khan here, as we'll see how white that CC bar is going to continue to be.
So hard to bait out a riposte here, but we're waiting for the inevitable moment.
Yep.
Don't want to show anything.
Yep, they're just going to walk for Khan. The riposte does come out eventually as the Grand Challenge comes in. Permafrost is going to be there, but Khan just dashes out of the way.
He sticks to his guns. He holds on to his cooldowns. His flash was up. Wasn't flashed until he had to. That summoner advantage over CuVee. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. SKT will get a free third ocean from this. Well, watch the replay. Life opened up and could have actually had Ruler join him. Ruler had other ideas and wanted to perhaps get a ward down. Caught in transition there. Seems like the duo lane on different pages for the first time in a while.
Yeah, it felt like Ruler sort of wanted to go for a flank or something like that, but the vision from SKT was just too good. 4,000 gold now the lead, the third Ocean Drake as well. It's like SKT have their own Sona. And it's just an aura from a dragon and also gives you some mana. Another Trinity Force coming in from Teddy to do as much damage as possible. He's got 44k to challenge.
A lot of gold on both duos. Don't be baited by the 70 CS lead. We've seen Sona, Tahm, Kench enough to know the gold will be competitive, and I would assume still pretty decently around either Ruler's advantage or 50-50. Up in the mid lane, Ruler's squishy. Can't take too much free poke.
Yeah, after that Q coming in from Effort, I thought that they might actually try and get something more, but not wanting to bite off more than they can chew.
Triple Ocean pre-20, you know? Like, yes, you probably prefer the third Drake was a Mountain, so you maybe could play a Baron game, but Triple Ocean really is pretty impressive.
We're getting the fourth Drake that's a Mountain at about the time that a third Drake would theoretically be coming in, so not too bad. And in fact,
it's Faker holding the lane.
Yep.
Playing around here with the Trundle impersonation right now. Lane assignments are going to be tricky to engineer for the side of Gen.G. They're not going to be too happy with most of a Trinity Force, and Executioner's calling Camille versus the Fiora. As she gets closer and closer to level 16. Level 16 Fiora. Not many side laners that smile at the side of that.
No. Does have that level advantage like you're talking about. Clid walks over a control ward. Ruler in a precarious position in the mid lane. And Faker utilizing this map pressure that SKT has in order to take down this outer turret on the top side of the map. Unanswered has SKT been when it comes to those turrets. Is Khan looking for Fly. Grand challenge once again. As Peanut's going to turn up. Doesn't find the ultimate there as the riposte now going to be on cooldown. And now it's going to be whether or not Khan can lunge in time. And he just straight up can't. Has to flash to get himself out of the way. The flash forward from Fly. And the Arctic Assault's going to miss, but it's not enough. Enough sparkles available from Fly as Abyssal Voyage, double teleport, make that a triple as Faker gets himself into the brush behind Gen.G. Actually, no, that was the shape splitter. Damn, I get confused about Neeko sometimes, but Gen.G still hunting for more, unable to quite find it, as there was a lot of buttons pressed, and now inroads available for SKT in the mid lane.
For both teams, there's a lot to talk about here because so many teleports were used by Gen.G and no more benefits found. Teddy's TP up, Khan dead of course, and keeps his. They're going to rotate through the minion wave, tank it up, get some more, and now Ruler.
Yep, the flash forward. Great double use of the crescendo is going to keep Ruler alive, but now that's the flash. Actually, no, he kept it available somehow.
And with the TP, they actually TP topside, tanking up a minion and trying to get another turret here. So after losing Khan, SKT have exited up, and they might not get this turret on this push, but they're keeping the full court pressure onto the side of Gen.G.
Yep. They should be able to at least clear out this minion wave, but the problem is that 1 to 4 at the top of your screen, SKT have been able to get around this map, and when you see a Fiora comp that's able to play this map control game so well, even during the early and mid game, that's when you can feel really upset about how the rest of this game is going to go. Because it's all about that split push, it's all about how much map control you can gain and really leverage your power in that 1v1 against anyone that comes to try and take down Khan.
But I think it was a pretty decisive decision to roll back the same bot lane. You know, they knew that Sona was very likely to come out. You have your issues with Ruler on Sona, and because of the player, I can agree with you, but the theory is get a free lane as Sona, feel pretty good about it, and you can potentially wield it as a weapon. But you do give up things, right? Lane pressure is something you don't have, whatever the CS numbers show. And it's with the lane pressure and with their early inroads, SKT have gotten forward vision. They've rotated first. They've tried to get catches. And speaking of catches, CuVee going to be slowed. This will take a while.
Glacial Augment is one hell of an ability as the rest of SKT are going to turn up. Faker still hunting for more, just the tip. And Faker gets it with the final Blooming Burst. Cool guys don't look at explosions as they walk back up the lane yet again. CuVee also going to suffer the same fate as Khan from that last engage.
CuVee's flashes down, his life is void, and the rest of his team has very low Baron damage. When it's a Sona comp, you're not really respecting there to be a Sejuani, Zoe, Sona, Tahm, Kench, Baron. If it's going to happen, it's going to be slow. SKT don't care too much about it. Khan is on the weak side, he knows that, but will he be caught anyway?
Well, we'll see whether this trouble bubble is going to land, is the question. Paddlestar is going to be set up as body blocked by the Krugs.
No melee champion to assist there, so very hard to get much as it's just going to be SKT getting another objective. We called for a mountain. It's going to be the 4th Drake, but it's only 23 minutes into the game. Peanut stays top in a very low percentage gank chance against this Fiora. Seems like Gen.G call that as the best use of their time as they reset to a map that's in tatters, and SKT has control of at least 70% of it.
We have to remember that last time around Gen.G did have control over the dragons, at least up until the 3rd one. They were able to take down double Infernal very early, which helped them be strong. As speaking of being strong, Teddy finds his QSS button extraordinarily quickly.
Very respectful instant flash as well. That's a nice duo of things being blown.
You can see that he just wasn't surprised by that particular initiation there whatsoever. 1-0-1, Teddy has been the backbone of SKT for this whole series thus far.
I mean, SKT have such a vice grip on Baron with outer mid, outer top, and red side control that losing mid lane turret would be a disaster. So it's bot lane, we've seen this before.
Yep, hookshot comes in, CuVee gets himself out of the way of it. out of the way of the pillar for the moment as the Grand Challenge is in and CuVee's very much dead. Free health boost, but honestly, I mean, with triple Ocean Drake, you're feeling like you have one of those under you the whole time.
Yeah, just trivial kill to pick up, nothing that CuVee can do in that scenario, and Gen.G have no power anywhere to actually inflict pain on SKT. They can go bot lane and never respect Baron. The map as it is right now, even with some wards towards that area, from Gen.G you'll notice a SKT control ward right behind the Baron. That gives them the ultimate confirmation of the idea they already have, that they're not worried about Gen.G starting the Baron. SKT can return to pushing, and it's so hard to see Gen.G finding a foothold in this game. They were able to do that in the previous game. But right now, at least, SKT are kind of just profiting off CuVee and the bot side again and again. And when Trinity Force level 16 comes in, Tahm can do that alone.
Yeah, that's the thing that I'm quite scared about as well. Execution is calling, has been completed for the 1v1
Ages
for
ago.
CuVee. Yes, of course. And the Ravenous Hydra is what that's answering, of course. But, oh man. Khan is going to become much bigger than is possible to be dealt with by Gen.G. And already you can see that based on the laning statistics, 30 CS in the lead. Is this Fiora? And all the items done for Faker as well. I mean, he's got the Glacial Augment Bevy in that mid lane.
Getting in there and tussling with Peanut, forcing out a smite, even getting a smite. One charge down now for the Sejuani. But Gen.G want to be sieging. Speaking of sieging, Fly going to be caught, and we'll take a bit of damage here, you would think. They want to be sieging and then transitioning it into Baron with a strong 4-1 draft, but Camille's been answered by Fiora, and that means that that part is never possible. So they just need to be sieging, but they have no map control atlas.
Yeah.
And that just means that to put those two things together, we wondered if it would be via the on-hit Neeko or if it was going to be via the Fiora in this case. I think either way, the result is very similar, right? Very hard. You find it very hard to do anything on the map that isn't SKT decided. That just means that SKT continue to trade up at every avenue.
Yep, another Pillar of Filth down in the mid lane is cleared.
It's Pillar of Ice now. They changed the names
but this is the traditional skin, and therefore still looks like the Pillar of Filth, which allows me to say Pillar of Filth.
I'll give you that one. Atlas, you earned it. You showed your working. That was some analysis by you.
That's what I do.
Did you pick that up in China?
No. I just really loved original Trundle. Got really sad with the rework is Faker. He's going to turn up, gets the flash pop blossom, and that's a very dead Sona, meaning SKT in a much better position for this team fight. But can you even call it that? The bottom lane has been eradicated, and Fly, there ain't nearly enough sparkles to take anyone down on SKT.
I'm pretty sure the classic kid song is Pop Goes the Weasel, but it was Pop Goes the Sona there, knew exactly how much damage put out alongside the Ezreal. Here's the Baron. They now have the vision confirmation on. The threat wasn't there from Gen.G. It's real from SKT. They pick up the Baron, and it feels like this Baron push might be a game ender for SKT.
And you can just feel how hungry Faker is for these victories. Just making the decision that I'm going to kill Ruler right here, and was able to even dodge away from most of what that crescendo was able to achieve as well. Just stunning stuff from the SKT mid laner.
He loves the Neeko. Gets banned against him on previous patches. 9-14, so priorities change, but it turns out the AP Neeko stays the same. SKT roll up. Gen.G have no physical damage wave clear, so these Barons are real hard to deal with, and the Fiora only a little bit easier to deal with.
Yeah, and this goal graph from the last one that was a bit of a heart monitor, a bit up and down, has now turned into a very different story. It's just a slope that's getting increasingly steeper as life, he really had to be super fast on that Devour. Even the True Shot Barrage needed to be given a lot of respect from Ruler because he just doesn't have very much of a health bar as SKT just brute force their way forward. Pop Blossom is once again available. Shape Splitter needs to be respected as well. Crescendo is going to be used, but nothing gained. Great two-man ultimate coming in from Effort there as well as Trouble Bubble lands onto Clid, but Peanut finds the one gap in the SKT army to put the Glacial Prison, and that could be all she wrote. Because you can see SKT, they're still able to get poking. They've got a minion wave prepared on the top side of the map. Fly down to half health now. Peanut does have a health bar to work with, and SKT is starting to go lower as Faker. No flash this time around and no Pop Blossom now as CuVee thinks that it's time to go in, but I don't think it is. Blooming Burst is going to come down. Life is going to sacrifice himself for the good of CuVee. but is it the good of the team is the question. SKT find the one pick, and now they're back onto Nexus turrets once again. Epic goes into his stopwatch. You've got second Nexus turret now under fire. Still a lot of members left of Gen.G, but SKT are done with this game, and they want to take down the Nexus and seal their 6th 2-0 in a row. They just want to kill this Nexus. Can they actually do it? Clid's there, 2-man crescendo. Not enough. SKT 2-0.
Sub 30 minutes, SKT able to close out game 2. They rolled back the Ezreal Braum, but they did it oh so much cleaner, oh so much better. Shout out to the team that thought that with some adjustments they could make what is a free farm lane for Sona a non-factor, and their map control was a delight to watch this game. So often they were trading up, diving in at turrets to kill CuVee, knowing that Gen.G had no threat around the Baron, and when SKT decided they wanted Baron, things were theirs. So for game number 2 especially, who wins today's Griffin versus today's SKT? I wanted to jump forward with an answer, and then I thought more about it, especially game number 1 of this series. I'm not actually sure.
I think SKT wins.
I don't think I'm ready to shout that out at the top of my lungs, because I think SKT in game 1 were pretty fortunate. Like, not many teams lose in the spot Gen.G was in.
True.
I think game 2 SKT was very impressive, but yeah, it's such a difficult one to calculate, and it adds to another list of games we just want to see play out in front of us. That'll be you and LS on Sunday.
Yep, we will be able to bring that one to you. Still a couple of days to wait, and still a lot more LCK to come before that as well, and a lot more teams that we need to learn a lot more about. I mean, it's gone are the days where it's just the story of what SKT are doing.
And Griffin, to be honest, right?
Yeah, precisely. We've now got so many teams jostling for that top spot. I believe if you have a look at just game win rates in the LCK, at the beginning of the day, our top 7 were within 7% as far as win rate is concerned, per game win rate. Just shows how close things are between Dahm1 Sandbox, Griffin, Gen.G, Kingzone, SKT, and the Afrika Freaks.
I think we're going to see that our 1st and 6th and 7th aren't very far away in terms of games won either.
Yeah.
By the end of today.
Well, I mean,
because this only makes it narrower at the top.
Yep. It was, what is it? Yeah, there are between 19 and 16 game wins.
That's not a lot of difference in game wins,
No,
Atlas. So
not at all.
tells you where things are. Listening to the palms here, the close of game number 2.
애들 걸어 들어온다 이제.
Yeah, Faker going for that re-engage, but they're just corralling Gen.G right here.
I think they understand how strong they are, and that's really all you need. As SKT here, there are teams of Baron that have to retreat in scenarios like this, but I think SKT's hold out their cooldowns well and very cool-headed, it sounds like.
Yep.
파워 치면 끝납니다.
Also, Tahm happy just to flash in to go for that riposte. You saw how aggressive those flashes were utilized, understanding that this was that final push that they were able to go for.
And at the end, they're just buying space for hitting the Nexus, right?
Yep.
There's no need to chase on for kills here. It's very much just, hey, kill the Nexus, kill the Nexus. Probably called. Came down at the end of here. They get over the line. But victory in game number 2, and a vindication of a draft that if they lost on, would be very easy to turn on them. You just went farm for farm with a Sona Tahm. Why do it again? You saw the answer of why. They thought they could refine it and do it better. And hard to argue place in spring season. No Hanlabong to chomp on an apple for Khan, but 2-3-0. A lot of pressure required to be absorbed, and we were enthralled with watching all of that Sejuani camp topside. Khan held on to his guns, and more importantly, held on to his riposte most of the time.
Yeah, and I had a feeling it was going to be Khan for the MVP here, but there were arguments for a lot of different players this game around.
Who'd you vote for, Atlas?
I voted for Faker myself, because I felt like, once again, he landed a Pop Blossom, and then the game was over.
I was actually in the Clid school of thought, because I think Trundle can be tricky to pull off in terms of champions he has. Had an okay series here, but nothing groundbreaking. And it felt like Gen.G came down to earth a little bit, and SKT start to take off, 7-5. One more match, and notice